Okay. What's up? Good evening. I hope everyone enjoyed the first portion of this evening. Now for our Master of Ceremonies, Mary Kay Rendock is in her third year of retirement after teaching 5th and 6th grade for 37 years in Bloomfield Public Schools. She is now a teacher supervisor at Central Connecticut State University, a Discovering Amistad educator, and an active CEA retired member. Mary Kay took up beekeeping after retiring and now enjoys teaching kids about amazing honeybees. She is the 2006 Connecticut Teacher of the Year and an avid Yard Goats fan. Mary Kay is a very proud, lifelong Windsor resident, growing up in Pilgrim Village and raising her kids, David and Casey, with her husband Doug in Pequannock. She is thrilled to be here. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce our MC, Mary Kay Rendock.
Good evening. Like many of you, the Shad Derby is part of my Windsor family DNA. It began for us soon after my mom and dad moved to Windsor and when Scully and McDonald's was still on the corner of Mack Street and Pequannock Avenue. My parents sponsored candidates from 1969 until my dad sold Scully Motors and retired, some 30 candidates in all. And going to the Shad Derby parade as a kid, nothing better. And then as teenagers, planning what to wear to the parade happened weeks in advance, along with sun-in going in our hair and getting fake tans. Who remembers? Having a queen candidate was with the last name of Scully was important to my dad, but I was way too cool. My sister Pat was not chosen in the lottery, and so it rested on our younger sister Liz. I remember she had had a softball game that morning and came to the ball with a scraped knee bleeding through her dress. Ultimately, she was crowned the 1983 Shad Derby Queen and has since been known in the family as the Fish Queen. Years later, we used to park our cars at Liz's house over near Washington Park, run or walk the race in the morning, and then travel to the green via Philly Street, Preston, and Elm Street, bringing our growing herd with strollers, chairs, and sunscreen for the parade and festivities. Then we'd go back to her house for a huge party. Betting on the Preakness was $1 a horse, and of course it was based on names, not the odds. And then the next day, we'd start the countdown to see how many days it would take the goldfish, one on the green, to die in a bowl on the counter. When my dad was Shad Derby chair in 1999, he recruited Liz and me for the Queen's Committee. That first year, we had 5 girls from the Windsor High School softball team, and being players ourselves, we arranged to play Radio 93.7 in a charity softball game. The girls all had a blast, and by the end of the game, the entire crew was in the outfield. In 2004, we invited little Alex Scott to join the Queen and her court as an honorary Shad Derby princess, another wonderful Shad Derby memory. When my daughter, the oldest granddaughter, started high school, my dad, Vinny, started asking, although I'm not sure that's exactly the right word, because he wanted Casey to be a Queen's candidate. When my dad was sick, on what turned out to be her last visit with him, she promised she would run. She and her friends had an amazing time, and for the parade, my husband drove her on Engine 2, the 1935 antique fire truck from the Pequannock Volunteer Fire Company. And when the Shad powers that be decided to create an award to honor my dad, my mom, my sisters, and I were all touched. He loved all things Shad Derby and would have been over the moon to know that whomever brought the most people to the bowling party would win. Thank you for walking down memory lane with me tonight. I'm sure you all have wonderful Shad Derby memories too. We could probably be here all night sharing them, but we have a queen to crown, so let's get on to that business. What a treasure our little town of Windsor is. And now, what we've all been waiting for, I would like to introduce you to the 2026 Shad Derby Queen candidates. Miss Caring Companions Home Care, Juliana Mendoza Villa, escorted by Brandon Chantavong. Miss Dom's Eatery, Amber Liverato, escorted by Emmanuel Diolio. Miss Windsor Federal Bank, Alexandra Gould, escorted by Jorianne Rivera. Miss The Lil Plant Shop, Gracelyn Lacoste, escorted by Nate Stillman. Miss Stephanie Stone Sells Homes, Audrey Mashad, escorted by Nicholas Zenzak. Miss Windsor Kiwanis, Gladys Collins, escorted by Jesus Collins. Miss Pizzarama, Saria Salem, escorted by Sheldon Simpson. Miss Blue Dragonfly, Evelyn Schwartz, escorted by Michael Dabur. Miss Windsor Animal Clinic, Macy Karlowitz, escorted by Andrew Bloom. Miss The Kitchen at Back East, Sidel Esiadu, escorted by Zion Benjamin. And finally, Miss Windsor Rotary Club, Maget Ami Niang, escorted by Samuel Dungo. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2026 Shad Derby candidates. Each candidate has prepared an essay in response to the following question. Tell a story from our town that shows resilience, contributions, or unity. Explain how this story connects to Windsor's history and why it matters as we reflect on the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. What does this story reveal about your identity, values, and ideas about freedom? Okay, and now I would like to welcome to the podium Ms. Caring Companions Home Care, Juliana Mendoza Vila.
Good evening, everyone. When we think about American history, we often picture big cities, famous leaders, and dramatic moments. But the truth is, the story of our country was built on small towns, places like Windsor, where, let's be honest, people probably knew everybody's business, even back in the 1600s. Windsor is one of the oldest towns in the nation, and from its earliest settlements in the 1630s. It reflected the same values that helped shape America: resilience, unity, and contribution. The first settlers didn't have the convenience of the advanced tech and communication we have today. All they had was each other. They worked together to farm the land, build homes, and create a community from the ground up. There was no order online and get it tomorrow. If you needed something to get done, your neighbor was the only help you had. The spirit of cooperation didn't just help the people survive, it helped them govern. Windsor played a role in developing the Fundamental Orders of Connecticut, one of the first frameworks for democracy in the colonies. It established the idea that the government should reflect the will of the people, long before the U.S. even existed. Windsor was a part of the broader challenges that shaped early America. During events like the Pequot War, the community faced conflict and uncertainty, forcing people to rely on one another in difficult times. And later, during the American Revolution, towns like Windsor contributed in a quieter but more meaningful way, through support, service, and a shared belief in independence. But what really makes Windsor special isn't just its history, it's how the same values are still alive today. You can see it in the way our community comes together, whether it's helping a neighbor, supporting local families, or showing up at events on the town green. Windsor has that strong small town feeling where people truly care. And yes, sometimes that means people notice everything, but that's also kind of the point. It means we're paying attention to one another. We can still see these values today in the way people choose to give back and support others through foundations like Alex's Lemonade Stand. What started as a young girl setting up a simple lemonade stand to help fight childhood cancer grew into a nationwide movement that raised millions of dollars for research. It's a reminder that even the smallest idea can grow into something meaningful when others come together to support it. This reflects what Margaret Mead once said: "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can't change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has." That same belief in the power of community is what helped shape places like Windsor from the beginning and contributes to define it today. An idea that feels familiar, it's the same idea Windsor was built on. Small actions, when supported by a community, can grow into something much bigger. Just like neighbors once came together to build homes and create laws, people today come together to support causes, raise awareness, and make a difference. It proves that you don't need the power or wealth to create change, just compassion, effort, and people willing to stand with you. As we reflect on the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, it's important to think about what freedom really means. It's not just about breaking away from the government, it's about having a voice, being a part of something bigger, and knowing that people around you have your back. Windsor shows us that freedom isn't just something written on paper, it's something you see every day, and how people support one another and take pride in their community. As residents, we reflect those same values: resilience, unity, and willing to contribute. In the end, Windsor reminds us that you don't need a big city to make an impact, just a strong community and maybe a neighbor willing to lend a helping hand. I would also like to take a moment to thank my sponsor, Caring Companions Home Care, for their support. Their commitment to helping others in our community reflects the same values of compassion and care that makes Windsor just so strong. Thank you, and have a good evening.
Thank you, Juliana. I wonder if we can have some deliberation music as the judges take care of their end of the deal. Thank you, sir. Okay. Now please welcome Miss Dom's Eatery, Amber Liverato, escorted by Emmanuel Diolio.
Good evening, everyone. A few years ago, my aunt came to Windsor from another country. For her, it wasn't just a move, it was a complete change of life. She had to leave behind everything familiar, her home, her language, and the comfort of knowing where she belonged. Imagine arriving in a new place when even simple things like speaking to a neighbor or finding your way around can feel overwhelming. That kind of change requires resilience. But what made her story truly meaningful was not just her carriage. It was the response of the Windsor community. People welcomed her, they showed patience, kindness, and understanding. They made space for her to grow, to adapt, and to feel like she belonged. In a place that could have felt unfamiliar and isolating, she found connection. That is unity. Over time, she didn't just adjust, she contributed. She became part of the community, building relationships, working hard, and creating a life here in Windsor. Her story is not just about starting over. It is about becoming part of something bigger. That is contribution. Watching her go through that experience changed the way I understand what freedom really looks like. It made me realize that freedom isn't always something dramatic or distant. It can be something quiet and personal. It can be the ability to start over, to be accepted, and to find a place where you truly belong. As we reflect on 250 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence, it's important to remember what that moment truly represented. It wasn't just about breaking away from a nation, it was about creating a place where people could pursue opportunity, dignity, and a sense of belonging. My aunt's story shows us that those ideals are still alive today. Freedom is not only the right to govern ourselves, it is the chance to start again. It is the opportunity to be welcomed, to be included, and to build a future in a new place. And here in Windsor, that freedom is reflected in the way our community treats one another. This story reveals something important about who we are. We are a town built not just on history, but on people. People who support each other, who open their doors, and who understand that strength comes from unity. In 1776, the idea of freedom brought people together to form a new nation. Today, that same idea continues to bring people together right right here in Windsor. And that is what makes our story worth telling. Thank you to my sponsor, Dumb's Eatery, and enjoy your night.
Thank you, Amber. Miss Windsor Federal Bank, Alexandra Gould.
Let me tell you a story. The longest government shutdown in history happened in 2025, causing SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, to be cut right before the November 2025 distribution. SNAP is the largest U.S. federal anti-hunger program, which supports many families and individuals in the Windsor community, with monetary support for food items such as fruits, vegetables, meats, and other grocery essentials. The shutdown caused many that benefit from the program to have to scramble and stress over how to stretch their October distribution. Not to mention trying to stretch food through a major holiday about food, Thanksgiving. A holiday built around being thankful for one another and sharing grace while eating together. During that time, the Windsor community banded together and collected a large amount of food, necessities, and monetary donations that went to supporting those in Windsor who were impacted by the decline in government-funded resources. The food bank, where normally we were deeply in need of extra food, especially in the days leading up to Thanksgiving, we actually had so much food that we had to use an additional room for storage, which compared to other food banks and even prior years was a wonderful problem to have. Even after the government reopened on November 12th of 2025 and SNAP distribution continued, the delay in resources caused states to scramble to get November benefits out. The generosity of the Windsor residents did not cease, from local organizations running promotional events that have proceeds go to the food bank, to local churches and nonprofit groups running many different types of collections that also benefit. This story tells us that Windsor is a community of kindness, volunteerism, unity, contribution, and incredible resilience. The community holds close to the heart the ideals of the Declaration of Independence: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Here in Windsor, we believe that all people should be able to live and be happy, meaning we know that without food, a person cannot truly live or be happy. Windsor has a strong history of residents giving back to the community. To this day, the community of Windsor is still showing how much service and volunteerism is built into their identity. With organizations like the Windsor Food and Fuel Bank, Windsor Federal Bank, Windsor Rotary Club, the Bean at 226, Windsor JCs, and so many more, trying to build bridges so future generations can walk over those bridges with ease. I would like to thank Windsor Federal Bank for giving me the opportunity to be here tonight and to take part in this wonderful tradition of Shad Derby, and to the Windsor community for their continued support in all the girls and to each other. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexandra. Next, please welcome Miss The Lil Plant Shop, Gracelyn Lacoste.
Good evening, everyone. When I was little, my favorite part of Windsor was the eagle statue that stands outside the library. I loved how it seemed just about to fly away. While I was brainstorming what to talk about tonight, One of the first things that popped into my head was this eagle, because I wondered if such a statue's creator might have a backstory to match. And as it turns out, she does. Evelyn Beatrice Longman was born in Winchester, Ohio on November 21st, 1874. Between an unstable home life and poverty, she had a rough childhood, but she wanted more for herself. Eventually, this something became specific: become a sculptor. So she did just that, creating piece after gorgeous piece, even helping sculpt the Lincoln Memorial. At the height of her career, Evelyn met Nathaniel Batchelor, the headmaster of Loomis Chaffee, and fell in love with him. 2 years later, they got married, and Windsor became her new home. She gave many of her works to Loomis, completing the Eagle in 1929. There are two things I love about this story. First, Evelyn Batchelor is a shining example of resilience. Her mother died when she was 5, and nearly everyone in her circle tried to dissuade her from attending art school. Her friends even bought her a return ticket as a going-away present. Despite all this, she graduated in half the time it should have taken with highest honors. If that is not resilience, I don't know what is. She also modeled contribution and unity. One reason so many of her works can be found around Windsor is that she donated them, freely giving of her precious time and skill. And despite finding success, she never forgot the less fortunate, creating many memorials to the poor. Her beautiful capacity both to create and to care is something that reflects Windsor's values. Our identity is one that esteems support and freedom, things that Evelyn herself embodied. The second reason I admire Evelyn is that she did what she loved to do. This year marks the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, a document which says all people have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Evelyn's pursuit of something that brought her joy is a testimony to the way these words give vitality to our country. America is facing times just about as dark as any we've ever faced, but our foundation remains. We are a nation that strives and fails, yet keeps striving to let each citizen live in freedom, in peace, and in happiness. We need to only remember the lives of people like Evelyn Batchelor to remember why these are our goals, not only as a nation, but in our own beautiful town of Windsor. A special thank you to the Little Plant Shop for sponsoring me, and thank you all for your time tonight.
Thank you, Gracelyn. Miss Stephanie Stone sells homes. Audrey Mashad.
Good evening. Windsor to me is such an incredible community, one distinguished by its historical roots as the oldest town, providing a home to each and every one of us here tonight. Now, by home, I don't just mean that it's where we live, but that it's a community that I, and I'm sure most in this room can say provide us with a sense of belonging. A little bit about me is that I belong to First Church in Windsor, which is soon celebrating their 400th year as a congregation, which is just like how our country is also celebrating the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. While this might not seem like a big deal, both of these dates share a deeper meaning, as they are a testament to the unity, resilience, and the building of communities from the ground up, quite literally. For those who may not be familiar, First Church currently sits at 107 Palisado Avenue and is one of 4 churches that have been built for this congregation. The initial location of the first 2 churches was on the Palisado Green, which at the time served as Windsor's town center. But after a tragic fire destroyed the second meeting house, the church needed to rebuild both literally and physically from nothing. What made this rebirth even more complicated were issues over where to rebuild, as there were issues with the proper transportation across the Farmington River and also leading to a congregational divide. However, after much resilience, both a bridge and a 4th meeting house were built, both of which still exist 232 years later. While at this time we faced many issues locally, On a broader scale, this serves as a symbol for the resilience faced across the country in a time of need, even with establishing our nation's independence. This is why First Church's story can connect to our nation's development of the Declaration of Independence, particularly with the need to channel hardship as an opportunity for positive change as set forth by the Continental Congress. Even during a time where, as a country, we face the need to amend and rebuild, as we became independent from England, the community persisted, and we could see that in First Church. The ideals set forth in the Declaration of Independence truly inspire much of our town, and they reflect who we are. One that truly sticks out to me is the pursuit of happiness. Through events such as the Shad Derby, happiness is there, and understanding my roots, both as a member of First Church and a Windsor resident, have opened my eyes to the resilience we face to get to where we are today, allowing us to celebrate that happiness. With that, I'm truly grateful to be part of such a historical and loving town, as well as the 2026 Shad Derby candidate. I would also like to thank my sponsor, Ms. Stephanie Stone Sells Home, for supporting me through these experiences and always being there to support me. Thank you.
Thank you, Audrey. Miss Windsor Kiwanis, Gladys Collins.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank you all for coming and giving me this opportunity to be here today. When I reflect on the spirit of American independence, I know it took courage, sacrifice, and an unwavering commitment to freedom. Our nation's independence is not made of just grand battles and famous leaders. It's created from the lives of ordinary individuals who in their own way contributed to liberty. It's them I remember when I recount the words, "I am an American soldier," a creed that embodies the values we celebrate today. The one I hope to embody the most is John Breisner of Windsor, Connecticut. Born into slavery, Breisner's life took a turn when he embodied the phrase, "I am a warrior and member of a team." He enlisted in the Continental Army on May 1st, 1777, most likely the first black man from Windsor to do so. His decision risked his safety because as an African-American soldier, he faced prejudice and discrimination, but he persevered, praying for a nation for true freedom for all. Breisner's service is a reminder that the fight for independence was not just about breaking free from British rule, but for African Americans also striving towards a nation where equality applies for all. He highlights the personal commitment to achieve that goal. Like Breisner, I feel I have a duty to serve my community, my state, and my nation. I will always place the mission first, I will never accept defeat, and I will never quit. These words are the same values that guide those who serve today. By joining the National Guard, I hope to honor the legacy of those before me and protect the freedoms for all like John Breisner. I want to thank my sponsors, the Windsor Kiwanis Club, my Army National Guard recruiter, my family, and the girls sitting beside me for this amazing opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Gladys. Miss Pizzarama, Saria Salem.
Good evening, everyone. When people think about the story of American freedom, they often picture moments like the Battle of Lexington and Concord and Yorktown and the signing of the Declaration of Independence in Philadelphia. But what we sometimes overlook is that those defining moments were built from smaller stories of everyday sacrifice in communities just like our Windsor, Connecticut. One of the things about me is that I've always loved history. I've loved looking at and imagining lives behind old things, buildings, traditions, passed down through generations, and even my massive penny collection. I've had it since the day that I moved to Windsor. To most people, a penny seems small, insignificant, but over time it builds into something more meaningful and valuable, just like Windsor's history. Living here has helped me realize that history exists all around us and places we walk through every day. Windsor is the oldest settled town in Connecticut. Founded in 1633, from the beginning, the people here showed resilience and a strong sense of self-government. They weren't just surviving in a new place, they were building a community together. They created families, churches, schools, systems of government that helped shape the ideas that America was built on. One of the most important examples is the Fundamental Orders of Connecticut. Written before the Declaration of Independence, it introduced a crazy new idea for the time, that government should be based on the will of the people and not the power of the king. The ordinary people of the town of Windsor believed that their voices mattered. These small ideas would later help inspire the Declaration of Independence. And while we often remember the famous leaders and battles of the Revolutionary Wars, independence was built through everyday sacrifice and contribution from ordinary people. Farmers provided food, families supported their soldiers, communities gathered supplies, and the town, like Windsor, stayed united through hardship. Men from our town went to fight, and those who remained supported in the ways they could. As we reflect on the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, it reminds us that history is all around us, and in places we live and the people we meet. Every day, the sense of community is still strong. And growing up here, I've experienced it through traditions like the Shad Derby, Thursday night concerts on the green, the Christmas parades, and the chili festivals that bring people together year after year. These traditions connect generations and keep our town stories alive. To me, Windsor shows our identity is built off resilience, unity, and appreciation for those who came before us. And it reminds us that freedom isn't just one defining moment in history. It's something built over time through courage, patience, and connecting with one another. Thank you for my sponsors, Pizza Rama, for giving me this opportunity, and thank you all for listening. Have a good rest of your evening.
Thank you, Soria. Miss Blue Dragonfly, Evelyn Schwartz.
Good evening, everyone. On October 3rd, 1979, Windsor, Connecticut existed in the quiet space between a thunderstorm warning and the mundane rhythm of a Wednesday afternoon. No one was prepared for the sky to turn. Within 8 minutes, an 11-mile tornado tore through our town. Roads became rivers, homes became debris. 3 people had lost their lives and over 500 were injured. In the aftermath, the air wasn't filled with the described roar of a freight train anymore, but with a heavy, disorienting silence. When everything familiar is erased in 8 minutes, you are left with a choice. Do you remain the victim of the storm, or do you become an architect of recovery? This choice, the decision to regenerate when the foundation is cracked, isn't just a Windsor story, it's a fundamental American story. 250 years ago, the American colonies faced a different kind of tempest. It wasn't atmospheric, but political. A long train of abuses that tested the limits of patient sufferance. Like the residents of Windsor in 1979, the founders realized that strength is not merely the ability to endure a hardship, but the courage to transform it. The Declaration of Independence is often read as a list of complaints, but it is actually a blueprint for resilience. It reminds us that when a governmental system becomes destructive, we have the inherent right to alter or abolish it and institute a new government. True resilience requires more than just getting through it. It requires what the founders call a firm reliance. When they signed that document, they weren't just making a political statement. They were making a physical sacrifice. They mutually pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor. This is the bridge between 1776 and 1979. Resilience isn't a solo act. It's the workers running to save a woman and her child stuck in a truck right after the tornado. It's the community rebuilding the Air Museum within 2 years of its total destruction. It is the realization that our sacred honor is how we show up for one another when the sky turns black. The Windsor tornado lasted 8 minutes. The writing of the Declaration took 17 days. Both were brief moments that define centuries of character. They remind us that while we cannot choose when the storm arrives, we will always choose the landscape of the aftermath. As we mark this 250th anniversary, let us carry that spirit forward, not just as a memory of history, but as a commitment to our future. I would like to thank my sponsor, the wonderful people at the Blue Dragonfly Gift Shop, and thank you all for your time. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Evelyn. Miss Windsor Animal Clinic, Macy Karlowitz.
Good evening. My name is Macy Karlowitz, and I would like to take a moment this evening to stop and appreciate this opportunity that we all have to share in the joy and celebration that is the Shad Derby. Author Michael Crichton said, "If you don't know history, you don't know anything. You are a leaf that doesn't know it's part of a tree." Some may say that there is no point in studying history because it is the story of what is past and gone. I disagree. History is a gift of wisdom. History is valuable because it helps us recognize how we are connected to the land, to our resources, and to each other. When we recognize this, we begin to understand others and the foundations of our own existence. As you know, this year marks the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. To me, not only does the Declaration of Independence represent a moment of significant change in our country, but it also represents unity despite difference, which is an ideal that represents Windsor perfectly. Unity not despite of, but because of diversity. That is what the Founding Fathers had in mind when fighting for the American experiment, and that is what is practiced on the streets of Windsor on a daily basis. Each of the individual colonies represented different ideals and cultures, but they came together for the opportunity to stand for something greater than their individuality. I recently attended a conference at Central Connecticut State University called Connecticut 1776 that focused on the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. It was an educational experience to tie history to current events. At this event, I was able to see performers singing the music of the era, reading out the Declaration, describing the lives of revolutionaries, and much more. One thing that I learned that was extremely powerful during the early days was the way that art reflected the camaraderie of the community members. Whether it was the intricate needlework from the women at home or the patriotic music that defined the era of a revolution, art represented the unique skill sets of American citizens. All throughout our country's history, art has highlighted individualism, yet it ties everyone together. During my junior year, I was able to participate in the creation of a collaborative art piece between the Art, Social Justice, and Black Excellence Clubs. We created a mural to put in the high school with the goal of representing the excellence of scholarship and community engagement in Windsor High School. In order to learn about this art form, we were lucky enough to talk to a few muralists about what it takes to produce a mural, One of those artists being Windsor's own Sophie, who you may know from her most recent stamp mural in the center of town. Also as a part of this project, we generated a public survey to collect data on what our community was up to. What sports or clubs did people feel were underappreciated or unknown? The goal was to make sure that everyone felt represented and ultimately seen as a part of this art piece. Coming from someone who has seen this mural as start to finish, the hardest thing was being able to physically fit in all of the things that make Windsor High School, Windsor High School. Yet, with all of these intensely diverse activities, we were all united by one thing. We are Windsor. To me, that is the greatest display of unity and truly shows how, just like our country, we are united by our differences. Thank you again to my sponsor, Windsor Animal Clinic, for the opportunity to participate in this town-honored event, and thank you so much to everyone for coming out today. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your night.
Thank you, Macy. Miss the Kitchen at Back East, Sidel Esiadu.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to first thank my sponsors, the Kitchen at Back East, the Shad Derby organizers, my family and my friends, and all the support I have received. I'm truly grateful for the opportunity to stand here today. To stand here today is to reflect on the people, the history that made this possible. History usually focuses on people, events, and ideas that made a huge impact in our world today, and seldom on the small stories that matter. The stories that show true resilience and contribution. A story that shows such impact was Windsor's Afro-American Civic Association, founded in January 1982 by a social activist, Willie Graham. It was a community service-based organization dedicated to the inclusion and increase of the social, economic, and political participation of Black residents in the Windsor community. Willie Graham, like every change maker, saw the need for change, for improvement, for new voices in our community, and for lasting impact. Willie Graham recognized the need for involvement of Windsor's Black residents in the city's social and political spaces. With the support of the WAACA members, she worked to inform Black voters in Windsor about elections, urging residents to participate in the town's commissions, town's councils, youth task force, police athletic league, and the school's advisory board. The WAAC organized fundraising events to provide scholarships for Black students who lack the financial support from the school system to pursue higher education and even sponsored Shad Derby events and candidates just like myself. The significant impact lasts today, paving the way for people in our community who are great contributors to unity and the well-being of our community. People like Ms. Ayanna Taylor, who serves as the president of the Windsor Board of Education, providing and creating opportunities in Windsor's education system for students, workers, and the overall community. To our mayor, Ms. Blackburn, the first Black woman to become mayor of the town of Windsor, dedicated to the change, growth right here in Windsor. Just like Willie Graham and the WAAC, they saw a need for change in our community and took the steps to do so. As a young person in Windsor today, I'm truly impacted and inspired by this idea of building change in different spaces. That's what freedom really means, using the power I have as an individual to speak up and act on issues in our world today. And as we reflect on our country's history, when we gained our freedom, our independence, and the changes we made to our country, the Declaration of Independence, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, a government was was created for the people, by the people. People like you and me who are driven by change. So with this, I invite you to ponder on your identity, your values, your ideas, and how you will shape our future. Thank you again to my sponsor, the Kitchenette Backies, my mom who couldn't be here today, and my amazing friends who came out of their way to support me tonight. I'm very grateful. Thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you, Sidel. And finally, Miss Windsor Rotary Club, Maget Ami Niang.
Good evening, everyone. What would your younger self think of who you are now? Does your life match up with your past dreams, or have you become something entirely different? Are you proud of where you've ended up? The stresses of daily life and our incremental growth can make us lose sight of how much we've grown over the years. In a world where we're constantly chasing the next hit of dopamine, it can be difficult to see the beauty in and around us. But true happiness doesn't come from temporary thrills. It comes from allowing yourself the freedom to be unapologetically yourself. I and a majority of my age mates have had the pleasure of participating in activities at the L.P. Wilson Community Center. Whether it's seeing the musicals the town theater has put on, playing on the tennis courts with my friends, or trying out karate, I've made so many fond memories there, and it's shaped the person I am today. Being able to explore different interests and interact with my community during such formative years of my life has been so beneficial to building my integrity and understanding who I am to a core. The center's namesake, Leland P. Wilson, was an integral part of Windsor's beginnings and preserving our history. He was heavily involved in civic improvements, planning, and zoning, and as treasurer of the Windsor Historical Society, he understood the importance of having enough space for the various artifacts of Windsor. We are able to know so much about our community today in large part to his dedication and commitment to making sure the beauty of Windsor isn't lost to time. The core ideals that this country is built upon, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, are rooted in honoring not only your younger self, but also your ancestors and learning from their legacy. Our future, not only as individuals, but as a community, is nothing without our collective pasts. Windsor has always made a commitment to making sure we never forget where we came from, and I'm extremely proud to call this place my home because we are able to meet so many versions of ourselves and take lessons from the past to help us move forward with integrity and goodwill. Our town and its dedication to preserving history and investing in people's childhoods is emblematic of the values we uphold, and it's clear to see in the way our community cares for one another. I'd like to thank my sponsor, the Windsor Rotary Club, for supporting me. Thank you for listening, and have a great rest of your evening.
Thank you, Maget Ami. Please join me for one more giant round of applause for these amazing young women, the 2026 Shad Derby Queen candidates. Thank you to our candidates and our judges. Judges, I do not envy you right now. But you will now be leaving to begin your deliberation. So let's give them a round of applause for encouragement. Tonight's entertainment is provided by MNE Events. At this time, I would like to invite the candidates and their escorts to enjoy their first dance. After the first dance, we invite everyone to join us on the dance floor.
Slide to the left. have all the candidates go outside the door, please? All the candidates take your way outside the door.
This guy look my way. There we go. Do I say the name or do I say the sponsor first? Just the name. Okay, very good. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you could please return to your seats. We are about ready to continue our program. Christine. Now? Ladies and gentlemen, at this time I would like to welcome our 2026 Shad Derby Queen candidates back into the room. Another one of the wonderful traditions of the Shad Derby Ball is that we bring back last year's Shad Derby Queen. So please help me in recognizing Hannah Donzella, the 2025 Shad Derby Queen. Hannah is currently a student at Hofstra University in Hempstead, New York. She is studying mathematics with a focus on actuarial science and business. She is also a member of their cross-country and track team. Welcome, Hannah.
Good evening. A year out from now, for my own Shad Derby debut, I've had time to reflect on the profound impact it will leave on my life. Although at the moment it seems like a stressful competition that you are eagerly waiting the results of, down the line you'll be able to see it for what it truly is, a guide path for stepping into your own power. To be a young woman is to have a confident and loud internal monologue. We are constantly responding in our subconscious to the world around us, finding beauty in correlation by reading between the lines. These thoughts that flow through your brain, they are more impactful and powerful than you may think. What we struggle with the most is projecting up. As a young woman, you may find that expressing your beliefs and excitement around a topic is often cut short. and these thoughts that could change the world turn into a stream of half-spoken opinions, causing our minds to shut down in defeat, an adaptation to years of fighting to be heard. The Shad Derby for me fostered a space to turn my internal thoughts outwards. The speeches and interviews are great at building public speaking skills, but most importantly, they let young women finish their thoughts. Sitting down for the interview portion of the competition is arguably the most nerve-wracking aspect, but getting out of that chair, it changed something in me. I felt as if for the first time, I could pour out my thoughts in a professional environment and not only be heard, but also seen. The importance and beauty behind the competition is that it will give you this initial taste at finding your voice, and that is all you will need to catapult your journey. As a first semester freshman elected onto my school's Student Athlete Association Committee, I was hit with a wave of fear, worries around if my ideas were good enough or my thoughts impactful enough. Fortunately for me, I had my Shad Derby experience to lean on, a reminder that my opinions are worthy of being shared and more influential than they may seem. You all stood up here today with such poise and confidence, commanding a crowd of over 100 people along with a packed live stream. Let this be a reminder in your moments of doubt. If you can deliver a complex and insightful speech while standing in pinchy heels and a heavy dress, then any other form of public speaking is sure to be a piece of cake. Now more than ever, young, diverse, and passionate voices must be heard. Unique stories must be shared, and you are all prepared to join in that chorus because of your dedication and commitment to this experience. Too frequently nowadays, successful young women are pitted against each other. And although a competition, the Shad Derby Queen contest cultivates growth instead of comparison. The committee nurtures an uplifting and supportive environment for young women. My fondest memories of the Derby will always be the ones spent with my fellow candidates. The laughter during rehearsals, the whispered debrief after speeches, and the shared agony of trying to pin your sash perfectly. These moments of girlhood are what will stick with you the most, as you are all forever bonded through your months together. And as you continue on, your fellow candidates will be there as mirrors to reflect your power back to you. You have all grown from young women living out a childhood dream into the beautiful princesses and queens standing in front of us this evening. Hold your head high tonight, tomorrow, at the parade, and every day after that, for you are all queens with fierce voices. It has been my honor to return this evening, and even more so, to celebrate the incredible young women sitting in front of me. Congratulations to you all. I cannot wait to see the impact you will leave on our town and this world. Thank you.
Quite obvious why Hannah was chosen as last year's 2025 Shad Derby Queen. I'd now like to introduce and welcome to the podium the official auditor for the 2026 Shad Derby, Timothy Carmen.
Good evening. In my hand, I have the results of the 2026 Shad Derby. The Mary Ellen Messina Award, the Vince Scully Memorial Award, Miss Congeniality, Second Princess, First Princess, Princess Royale, and the Queen. As the auditor for the Shad Derby, my job has been to remain independent of the judges and the contestants, tabulate the judges' scores after each event, and present the winner to the MC at tonight's event. I'm grateful that the committee has asked me back again this year, as it's a privilege to listen to these young ladies talk about their diverse talents, backgrounds, and experiences. Each year I take something away from what the contestants share, and it makes me reflect on my own life. Realizing that I am what stands between all of you and the winners being announced, I'd like to take just a few minutes and share how each of these honors is determined. As I mentioned, 5 designations will be awarded: Miss Congeniality, Second Princess, First Princess, Princess Royale, and the Queen. And 2 special awards, the Mary Ellen Messina Award and the Vince Scully Memorial Award. The Mary Ellen Messina Award is determined by the judges based on an essay written by each of the contestants. Each judge looks at the content of the essay and how well each contestant expressed themselves and their community service involvement. The Vince Scully Memorial Award is given to the contestant who demonstrated their support and involvement throughout this year's Shad Derby events and most closely encapsulated the spirit and dedication Vince had to this timeless tradition. Miss Congeniality is awarded to the contestant who has received the most number of votes from among her peers. Each of the contestants was asked to cast one vote on who they believe is most deserving of the title Miss Congeniality. This individual will be honored as the favorite among her peers. The next 4 honors are awarded to the top 4 contestants who have received the highest number of votes from the judges throughout the process. The scores are comprised of 3 judges' votes over 3 separate nights, this one being the final night. I'll take you back to a night in early March. The contestants met the judges for the first time and were asked to deliver a 1-minute speech about themselves and their interests. We heard about their love for tutoring, volunteering, helping those at Kimberly Hall, cooking for the homeless, collecting coins, and exploring their faith. They spoke of their achievements in debate, cross-country, track, lacrosse, field hockey, swimming, music, and robotics. And they spoke about their future plans to study marketing, nursing, animal science, history, environmental science, law, data science, radiology, interior design, and political science. These speeches introduce these young people as they are and prove to the judges that it was going to be a tough year. This round comprised 15% of the contestants' overall score and was based on the presentation of the speech, their poise, and their appearance. In April, the second round kicked off and comprised 60% of the contestants' overall score. Each candidate met individually with a panel of judges for a 10 to 15-minute question and answer session. Each candidate was asked 3 questions. Do you feel your school has well-prepared its students to understand the responsibilities they face once they graduate? What does empowering other women mean to you? And how can young women support each other in today's world? If you could change one thing in your community, what would it be? How would you have answered these questions? What would you have said? All the contestants used their time with the judges as an opportunity to open the door to their lives a little wider, allowing the judges to get a glimmer into who these young ladies are. Each judge then scored based on community and school involvement, outside interest, knowledge of current events, appearance, poise, personality, and attitude. Finally, the culmination of all the judging occurred this evening. Each contestant was asked to write an essay and present it here tonight, as you heard. Each judge has cast their final vote based on the essay, the contestant's poise, and their appearance. This will comprise 25% of the contestants' overall score. As you can see tonight, and as we learn more and more about our future generation. As we heard in their speeches, and as the judges and I have heard throughout the competition, these young ladies have stories that we can all learn from. I want to encourage the 11 of you to not let your flame dim. Your high school career is a jumping off point, and experiences like these should help propel you into the future you. I recently heard a commentary about trees. I learned the environment a tree exists in makes it stronger. If the area is scarce of water, the roots will dive deep. If the area has strong winds, the roots will go out far and support the tree. These harsh conditions may appear as a threat to the tree, but the reality is they prepare the tree and make it stronger as it grows. Each of you have gone through trials and struggles and have great successes. These experiences, good or bad, have prepared you, have allowed your roots to grow out and stabilize you, and grow deep to feed your passions. These moments like these have strengthened you as you grow, so you can face stronger and harsher storms tomorrow. Now, a tree does not stand on its own. The trees around it provide protection as well and help shield from elements. As you stand up here tonight, I want you to look out in the room at your family, your friends, and your supporters who have shielded you from the harsh winds of life, have provided paths for you to grow, so as a sapling you could thrive, become a stronger people that you are today. As you go out into the world, don't forget the force that has encircled you and recognize the benefits you add to the new force you'll be part of. I've been the auditor for the Queen's contestant for 20 years, but I'm not the only person that makes this happen. There's a broader group that makes the event possible. I'm just one part. As you find your niche in the world, use your talents and abilities to bring your best self to what you do. And like a tree in a broader forest, always learn from those around you by leaning on them and provide support yourself. Always remember to care more about the team you're with than the role that you play on it. This is what will truly make you successful. I look forward to seeing what you all accomplish. As I conclude, so we can move to the results, I think it's fitting to leave you with your own words. This is some of the sage advice that you all have shared throughout the competition. Be better than the day before. See Christ in the beauty of nature. Show up for others. Leadership is not being the loudest, but setting the standard. Remember you must die, so remember to live. And finally, be a star that shines. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Before we move on to the awards, I think we should give a round of applause to the escorts. These young men have provided friendship and support to these amazing young women these past few months. At this time, I would normally invite the festival chair up again to present the Vincent Scully Memorial Award. However, tonight I'm going to handle it. You ready, Mom? Okay. Goodness. The winner of the Vincent Scully Memorial Award, Juliana Mendoza Villa. This Community Service Award is named in the honor of my dad, the longtime Windsor resident, business owner, past festival chair, and 30-year sponsor of the Shad Derby Queen candidates. It's awarded to Juliana, who obtained the largest number of participants for the Shad Derby Bowling fundraiser that took place March 10th, in keeping with Mr. Scully's drive and ambition to always strive for excellence. Next, I would like to introduce and welcome Monica Nugent to present the Windsor Junior Women's Club Mary Ellen Messina Award.
Good evening, everyone. Each year at the Coronation Ball, the Windsor Junior Women's Club honors a candidate at the Shad Derby Queens competition. We bestow this Community Involvement Award to the candidate who best exemplifies a great regard for involvement in the Windsor community. In 1969, Mary Ellen Messina spearheaded the charter group of the Windsor Juniors on a path of service, fundraising, and community awareness. Her contributions to the people of Windsor illustrated a deep commitment to community and enforced the quality of life in our town. Windsor Juniors contributes to her sense of community Windsor Juniors contributes to keep her sense of community alive by giving this award in her memory. The winner of the Mary Ellen Messina Award is really stuck in there. Macy Karlowitz.
The Shad Derby tradition is kept alive through the generous donations from many local businesses. These wonderful contributions are listed in your ball program. It is due to the generosity of these supporters and each of the candidate sponsors that we are able to present the 2026 Shad Derby Queen and their wonderful awards. And now, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Congeniality is an award that is selected by the candidates themselves. This year, the award is graciously sponsored by Dr. and Mrs. Ganji. The 2026 Shad Derby Miss Congeniality is Macy Karlowitz. Congratulations, Macy. Now, on to the Queen and her court. The second princess is Sidel Esiedo. The 2026 Shad Derby first princess is Evelyn Schwartz. Almost there. The 2026 Shad Derby Princess Royale. Please welcome Juliana Mendoza Villa. The 2026 Shad Derby Queen will receive a Shad Derby Award and a beautiful tiara donated by the Hoffman family. And now, it is my honor and privilege to announce that the 2026 Shad Derby Queen, Macy Karlowitz. I'd like to invite the family and sponsors of our Queen's Court to the stage for some pictures. Andrew. Yes, I know. Yes. Thank you, Andrew, for being so quick. So Would anyone like to come up and take pictures and say hi to their daughters? Come on, come on! Congratulations once again to the 2026 Shad Derby Queen and her court. We hope you will join us for some dancing in a few minutes. And on behalf of the Windsor Junior Women's Club, please thank you all for coming and enjoy the rest of your evening.